Thank you very much, Pyra and Chachi over there. The UOL, indeed, when a lot of us had written them off in that race for 4 and 5 and put them in 6th place, they come back and they pull out a win versus H2k.
Yep, I called it. I said they were going to lose their games. I said they were going to play 6th. I
uncalled it.
did not anticipate it at all. And we've gone full Europe. All of a sudden, we have 2 back-to-back upsets, which is something we've not seen really at all. And Unicors of Love find a performance that really got a chance by punishing H2k's over-eagerness. I still feel that H2k had made mistakes that then ended up costing themselves.
Yeah, let's take a look at one of the replays. That was one of the deciding ones to get UOL back in the game. Exactly what you say. H2k, they have everything in control here, but the Unicors of Love managed to capitalize on the overextension.
Yeah, it seemed to be so good for H2k throughout the entirety of this game, but again and again, either Odoamne was getting caught out or he was over-aggressing into fights. This time was the former. He gets caught early on, and from here, it's kind of all on Forgiven to somehow outplay here. On such little health, it's never really going to happen, and Stellback is so far ahead right now when he's picking up these kills. Stellback is a player that kind of is silent for the majority of times, but is putting up these massive score lines in games.
And it's really interesting because when you look at H2k's games throughout the split, they tend to get their leads and snowball from towers, and then once they have map control and vision control, they make informed, smart decisions. This was a game where they tried to do that, but then they got over-eager. They got into team fights, they got into these aggressive skirmishes that actually they're not super comfortable with because most of their games don't go that way. I think it's a very rude awakening for H2k. It is slightly better to happen now in week 9 than in a quarterfinal or a semi-final where you can, be put on tilt. But it is something they have to learn to do when we look at the postseason.
The thing is, and Deficio, Crepo, and Pulse talked about this on the end of the game, this is a team, the Unicorns, that typically aren't good in the late game. So they are going to make a couple of errors. We've seen that for the last couple of weeks. And H2k just committed to a play because they felt like this game was running away from their grasp. They thought they had it, and then they started losing it. And there was a couple of desperate plays. The Jankos jumping over the wall. Odoamne couldn't really play the 1v1 for a long time until very late on, and was struggling to try and get himself into fights as well. So H2k just looked desperate, and I think that's one of the first times we've seen them look like that.
I completely agree, and I just want to give some props to the Baron call from Unicorns. When there was the engage down on Chachi in the bottom lane, he manages to peel away from 2 members of H2k and instantly TPs for Baron. I just really like that decisiveness in terms of their teamwork and their cohesion. It managed to work, and you saw Loulex's grin at the end. He took down UOL. And it was great to see. H2k, sorry.
Obviously, his ex-team, and that makes that 4-5-6 UOL Fnatic Origin. Very interesting, as well as Vitality possibly still having a chance to move up in the standings. H2k can drop down. Whew, it's all crazy. It's all Europe here. And up next, it can get even crazier as Roccat takes on Team Vitality. And they have to close that window to avoid the summer promotion tournament as it is continuing to close. Yeah, I nailed that.
Level 5
Stay right
versus
here
level
because
5.
we will be right back.